Welcome to CSN the Network Podcast. This is your host, Kayvon Cutler, with my amazing co-host, Malik Hampton. How are you doing this evening, my brother?
I'm good, bro. How you doing, man?
Blessed and highly favored, as our sister would say. Definitely doing better now that I'm talking to you, bro. Speaking of sis, again, as we stated before, Dre is a very valued asset for a company. She's on a business trip, and they are currently doing something corporately, where they have an event going on this evening. So, unfortunately, Dre was trying to make it, trying to move some stuff around, but she won't be able to make it this evening. But of course, we're gonna hold it down for her. She's with us in spirit. So, with that being said, man, I'm ready to hop right back into it, man. Ready to pod. It's a great day to pod. Late coming off a great weekend, personally. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Bama boys. We handled business this past weekend, man. Defeating Georgia in a thriller. Definitely the greatest game, greatest college football game this season. One of the greatest Alabama games that I've witnessed, you know what I mean, in my fanhood, in my, lifetime span, just to provide an instant reaction. You know what I'm saying? It was a crazy game. Beautiful, beautiful ending. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hollywood. You know what I mean? Definitely want to hold it down for my boys. You know what I'm saying? Roll Tide. Oh, shoot. We upside down with it. Roll Tide till we die. I don't know if y'all can see that real good. But yeah, man. Defeated Georgia this past weekend. The great battle. We went up quick on the Malik 28 nothing. That first half was vicious. We ended at the half 30-7. My biggest takeaways from the game, real quick, before we talk about Hollywood, man. We definitely have to do better, Malik, in the secondary. I understand that, Damani is young, although, he played at USC. Keon Sabb, he didn't play much at Michigan before he transferred over. Um, Xavier Brown, same thing. He's a true freshman, our other starting corner. It just seemed like in the second half they figured us out. They was able to air it out on us. Was definitely moving the ball. We didn't do a great job either. For Coach DeBoer, this is definitely a learning experience for him because he didn't do a great job, in my opinion, of milking the clock in the second half, Malik, and he didn't keep his foot on the gas. I understand though, being up that much, it's hard to call a game offensively. You know what I'm saying? Because I get it. With the opposing team, it's like, what's there to lose? You know what I'm saying? But it just seemed as if maybe in the second half, Georgia kind of figured out our defense a little bit. So, definitely got to, Coach Womack, man, shout out to our D coordinator. Definitely got to get back to the drawing board and make sure we're more disciplined. We got to improve on the outside, man, guarding those boys. Because, to Malik, to your credit, they definitely had some weapons. I know I stated last week they had some weapons I wasn't worried about, but, I forgot ETN was there and he transferred from, your school. Their receivers definitely came up big. But man, I know everybody has talked about it on all major publications. I don't want to stress enough, how young he is in regards to Ryan Williams. We call him Hollywood. But that was man, that play he made at the end, Malik. I mean, just the catches that he made, even the catch that he made where he tipped it to himself, spun around, was able to keep his hand on the his eyes on the football and reel that catch in, man. Just showed his ball skills. That last touchdown, man, where he showed his body control, caught it, spun in the air, got his feet down quick, made sure he was in bounds. Boom, accelerated, stopped on the dime, spun, made two Georgia defenders run into themselves. That was a great play, one of the greatest plays I've seen, in Dixieland, in T-Town, at Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saban Field. Definitely one of the biggest plays I've seen. Definitely one of the greatest games, man. I tip my hat to Coach Smart. He has a great program. He's a great coach, great recruiter. It was definitely a great game, man. That's what SEC battles are made of. You know what I'm saying? We've been a part of plenty of those, Malik and myself, him being a Florida fan. So it was just good to see my boys come out on top because they definitely had me nervous in the second half. I won't front. But overall, man, I'm proud that they got that dub again. You know, Georgia so far in the past 3 years, they've only lost three times. All three has been to my Bama boys. So roll tide. Shout out to Jalen Milroe. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how great he looked. In the second half again, it died down a little bit, but Malik, that wheel route he hit between you and I, he would have missed that throw last year. The touch he put on that throw, I'm with that because there's a game in the game against Michigan. We had an opportunity, a similar play, and he missed that throw. So, I know I've been on here talking about just him improving with the intermediate passes because we all know he has a strong arm. But, sometimes as a quarterback, you got to be able to throw with touch. Not every throw needs to be a bullet. And I think he displayed that in that game. Had almost 500 total yards, man. Boy was going crazy, you know what I'm saying, with passing yards, had over 100 rushing yards, had 4 total TDs. So, again, shout out Jalen Milroe, man. Kirby Smart made a comment, and I don't take it as disrespect. What he said, Malik, was, you got a guy back there that could be the best running back in the nation who just happens to throw. So it just shows how, versatile he is as a dual threat. And yeah, man, roll tide. Proud of my boys. And that was a great game, though, man. What you think, though, League City?
Think it was a good game, bro. Um, it it definitely, I guess it lived up to the hype. It didn't go probably how everybody thought it was going to go as far as early in the game. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game playing by Kalen DeBoer. You know, as far as just using Milroe's legs and Milroe hitting passes, them attacking Georgia through the air. Early and often. I think they had a good game plan in the first half. Uh, Carson Beck probably played his worst game ever. You know, uh, he had a lot of mistakes in the first half, and that really helped. Spring y'all's lead. Some of those short possessions they had. Second half was a different ball game. Um, I don't know. Georgia kind of woke up. Then you look up and then they took the lead. But I mean, it was a good game. It lived up to the hype for sure. Um, yeah, the young bull from Alabama is nice. He's super nice. And they got a lot of a lot of spotty young talent on their team that I like. As far as Alabama goes, the corner that had the game winning pick was the freshman. Um, so yeah, I mean, good game. Two good programs for sure. I was tuned in. My girl, she don't even really watch football and was watching the end of it with me. You know what I'm saying? She was even excited watching it.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good game for sure.
Nah, definitely. For a neutral football fan, that was a great game. For me, like I said, bro, I was nervous in that second half, man. I couldn't believe if cameras could have caught my face and seen, how I looked when they took the lead in the fourth, I would have went viral, bro. Like the rage. But I controlled it, kept my composure because I'm all the games I've seen with Coach Saber, man, I just learned from him just always stay cool, never too high, never too low. And sure enough, bro, they scored in 2 plays on their or the drive
Yeah,
prior to their last drive. They scored on 2 plays. For us to score in the first play, Malik, because let me give background to our listeners. I wasn't nervous. I was just mad that I watched it in real time. I remember I haven't seen a man. I hate to compare it to this, but remember when the Falcons were up on the Patriots 28-3 in the Super Bowl and you watched it in real time, like the momentum shift? That's how I felt watching our game. And I felt just so many different emotions. I wouldn't use the term nervousness, but I was definitely upset, definitely, concerned because I'm like, dang, why do we take our foot off the gas? We're not really controlling the clock. We're not being aggressive as we were. But what gave me peace was it was 2 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game. Once we got the ball back. So for us to score on the first play, that was tremendous. But Malik, I wanted to pose this question to you. This game drew in over 12 million viewers, which is the most a regular season college football game has gotten since 2017. And that was same team, Alabama. We opened the season against Florida State, and that drew in 12.3 million followers. So at its peak in the second half, when Georgia was making its comeback, it peaked at 14 million. The game did. So definitely showed to be a great game. Um, but I wanted to pose the question to you: was this one of the greatest college football games you have ever seen?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as far as stakes go, regular season programs, you don't really get, top five matchups all the time. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, I think it was one of the greatest games I've seen for sure. It was a good
And I
game.
would say it again.
But no, it was just a good game.
Word. Hey, if ESPN still had instant classics, this game would have been on already again. You feel me? Definitely one of the greatest games I've seen. I'm not gonna, be too caught in the moment and say it was the greatest game ever, but it was definitely one of the greatest games I've seen, man. I'm just proud of the guys because that was a big win for us. Of course, the season isn't done. We got a long way to go. And we just getting started. You know, the SEC is a gauntlet, still the best conference in the nation. So I'm just happy that we was able to begin on the right foot and get a dub. You know, again, it's always good to beat Georgia. You know what I'm saying? They only beat us that one time. And shout out to bro. He made me feel better about it. He told me you can't really be too mad about it because Jameson Williams got hurt. So I was sick because Bryce Young didn't get one, but the fact that we beat them since multiple times gives me solace. So, I'm happy for that, man. Moving
You
on though.
should you should know for real. Like I'm just, I'm the voice of reason here. Bro, if y'all play Georgia again, y'all might lose, but y'all might not play them again because Georgia got a hard schedule, bro. Like compared to y'all schedule, you know what I'm saying? Like I know we always like to give some of the top teams in the SEC hell, or other people do, just because of the non-conference games, or the conference games, however they match up, whether they're being top heavy or not, But y'all missed out a lot on a lot of y'all missed out on a lot of the top tier teams in the SEC this year, which I'm not sure how that happened. You know, um, but I wouldn't want to play Georgia again, bro. I think they figured something out there. In the second half. Y'all couldn't really run the ball. I know you were saying like, why we wasn't milking the clock. Outside of Milrow, y'all wasn't having success running the ball like that. And it was really kind of how the game set up because y'all came out passing so aggressive, went up so crazy. The second half, all Georgia has to do is really stop the run. You know what I'm saying? Like they want y'all to pass, and that pass it plays into their hand as far as clock and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they was able to get back in the game for real. Just because y'all never established a real run game outside of Milrow. But I wouldn't want to play him. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't want to play him again, bro. I
I
wouldn't want to.
told you. Hey, I admitted it. It seemed like they figured us out defensively in the second half. So Coach Womack, excuse me, he got to go back to the drawing board, man. We got to get.
I will say though, y'all Milrow would still be the best player in the game, so y'all could still beat him for sure.
Yeah.
If he go crazy,
And if
he
you
that's
check the
that.
film, Malik, he had two spies on Milrow in the second half. I ain't
Yeah,
never seen that in college.
yeah. Rush three, spot two,
Yep.
too high safety, make him take everything underneath. They had
Well,
success
excuse me.
there.
I don't mean never seen. I don't mean to say never seen that in college. I haven't seen too many teams play Milrow like that, which would explain why he couldn't hit the edge in that second half, boy. They were so undisciplined in that first half on that edge, on that perimeter, Malik. Second half, we couldn't hit that corner like we was able to in the first half. So, but again, man, shout out my boys. You know what I'm saying? Got to show the flag one more time, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to my Bama boys. We did
That's a
that.
good win. Definitely a good win. I picked Bama. Funny enough, I
Yep.
just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't expect for it to look how it was early. But Milrow special though, I like the board. Like you can tell he developed players. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a schematic thing or if he really just good with the quarterback like that. He develops good
Low
players.
key, that's the quarterback whisperer right there. I mean, he helped Penix improve, and hopefully he continues to help Jalen Milrow raise his draft stock, man. Uh, but moving on, of course, I would love for us to dwell on the game, but we got, other topics that we have to discuss as journalists. With Cam Ward's performance that he displayed last week on Friday, Malik, would you say that that performance put him as the front runner for the Heisman Trophy?
No. If anything, Milrow's performance put him at number.
Respect.
but I think it would be like Milroe. Uh, Bruh, I'm gonna be real with Milroe, Hunter, and the dude from Boise,
Boise
bro. I
State
probably put the
going
dude from
crazy,
in Boise in second right now. And I know a lot of people love Travis Hunter, you know what I'm saying? But the dude from Boise was absolutely crazy. Like,
bro. Video game numbers for real.
bro, they look like Bo Jackson highlights. That's what I was telling the homies the other day. I'm like, bro, all his highlights look like some Bo Jackson crazy looking. He almost got a ban, bro. 4 games in.
All right, bro. Trust me, I'm hip. I be talking, I work youth sports, so I be talking to the dads like about him, bro. It's remarkable what he's able to, put on film right now, man. It's definitely cool. Who would ever thought we'd be talking about Boise State again, Malik? You know what I'm saying? Of course, they had trick plays when we was growing up, and they had some success like with Kellen Moore and other people you dig. So they haven't really been talked about in recent years. So it's cool to see them have a star player that's bringing the program, having the program's name being brought up again. That's always cool for, you know, uh, those type of programs that don't get the recognition that they may feel that they deserve. But and I wanna answer the question as well. I'm with you. Prior to Jalen Milroe's performance on Saturday, I would have told you Cam Ward was the front runner because Malik he put on a show. He's had over 300 passer yards every game he's played. Shout out to bro too. I didn't know quarterback from V Tech was his cousin. That's a crazy little situation right there. Reference to playing your family. It's a beautiful thing. But so would those be your Heisman finalists though? The gentleman you just mentioned, the four gentlemen, Cuz from Boise State, Jalen Milroe, uh, Travis Hunter, and Cam Ward.
Uh, I mean, right now because Quinn Ewers is hurt, yeah. But if Ewers wasn't hurt, I wouldn't have Cam Ward in my top four. He definitely had, a good first few weeks. You know what I'm saying? But that Virginia Tech game, I'm not as impressed as everybody else. I was watching that game. You know what I'm saying? And he did, help him come back. But it was some stuff Miami really should have lost the game for real, like keeping it all the way. Um, I just seen some things, you know what I'm saying? He had a couple, boneheaded plays, that would have helped VTech win if they were able to. But nah, yeah, if Ewers was playing, I'd have Ewers over Cam. But right now, yeah, Cam would be at number 4. That would be my top.
And um, I'd be remiss, I don't mean to say cuz from Boise State. We gotta, do us proper justice as journalists. The gentleman's name, Malik, is Ashton Jeanty. Am I pronouncing that right? Ashton Jeanty. So he just ran for 259 yards and 4 touchdowns against Washington State recently. So the boy going crazy, man. Um, but moving
He's
on, what you say?
Not say he's serious.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He ain't playing. Are you familiar, Malik, with the Cam Newton and Shador Sanders situation? Like, I'm sure you saw the clip, but did you see the comments Cam made prior to that clip to have context on why Shador said that?
Yeah, I seen it, but didn't. Uh, I don't even know what the topic was for Cam to make those comments, though. But I've seen his comments and why Shador, you know, might have felt the way or whatever. But I
Right.
don't know what the question was in the Cam Newton podcast, like for him to say it. I just seen the clip of him saying they were showing him.
True. And we got to add that context as well. I won't say random, but I don't know. I understand what he was trying to convey, but I wanted to pose the question to you. Do you think that he would be considered a hater? You know how this younger generation is, Malik. You can't give no constructive criticism. If it ain't love, if you ain't glazing, you hating with this young generation. So would you consider him a hater for his comments that he made?
I don't know what the context of the comments were like. I don't know what the topic was. Like, why was he speaking on Shador? I just seen him say what he said, and what he was saying wasn't wrong, necessarily. But I can see why Shador would take him away at the same time. But at the same time, I don't know what the question was. I don't know what they were talking about on the podcast. I just legit seen him and what he said in the comments, but I don't know what the question.
Yeah. I mean, so for our listeners, just to educate our listeners, Cam Newton on his platform, what was stated was he basically was saying, what signature win or game does Shador Sanders have that, hang his hat on?
That was
And
it. They were talking about that. That's it.
yeah, and
Yeah,
he was saying that, you know, it's tough because if you look back, Auburn wasn't supposed to win that year. It wasn't supposed to be as good as what they were. And it's a similar thing with Colorado. Uh, Now this is where we kind of part ways, because I know people say, well, it's a different school, it's the SEC, meaning you'll be able to pull in better recruits at Auburn. But we can't do that because y'all know Coach Sanders is pulling in them 5 stars. But I get it. As far as the foundation, yes, historically, in most cases, Auburn has more success than Colorado, although they have national championship success. That program does. But what he said was basically he didn't have to go against, some of the teams that he had to go against in reference to Cam comparing himself to Shador. So he was saying, just watch the comparisons. You know what I mean? He was just basically stating, that he's played the best teams in the best conference, put on a show, was the best player on the field, whereas multiple NFL stars on that field. So he was just saying, he ended his soliloquy with watch the comparisons. And what happened in the aftermath, Cam Newton went to the Colorado game this past weekend. He tried to say what up to Shador, and he said, Shador stated, I don't cuss, but he was saying you on some weird stuff. If y'all can fill in the blank instead of stuff. He's just like, you want some weird stuff and walked away from him. So it seemed a little dismissive. Again, I want to answer this as well. I'm like, I wouldn't say he's a hater, but he could have framed that a little different way because to keep it a buck, Cam, why would somebody compare Shador to you? You was a dual threat power quarterback. Dual threat power quarterback. You understand? You could run between the tackles, no problem. You was dragging Patrick Peterson when y'all played LSU. I will never forget that. So that's not you could have framed that differently because that's not you're not even somebody he would be compared to. You had like 1,500 rushing yards your Heisman year. He's not going to even get close to that for like his career. So that wasn't a proper comparison. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a pocket passer. Yes, he can move, but he uses his athleticism to extend plays to throw on the run. He doesn't use his athleticism like you use yours. So that wasn't really a fair comparison to him. You know what I'm saying? Because Cam, like I just said, that was a power back playing quarterback. Like it was crazy witnessing it. So I just wanted us to discuss that. Really for our listeners that are young, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be mindful. Just because someone's older than you and trying to offer constructive criticism doesn't mean they trying to hate. I know this may not be the best example for that, but I just wanted us to highlight what happened to educate our listeners so they, can at least have an understanding, uh, as to what happened and what is going on. So, but I do want to pose the question though. I mean, in your opinion, Malik, does Shador have a game or a signature game under his belt?
I mean, nah. I mean, probably if you had to say one, it might be, I guess, the TCU game last year because everybody was expecting them to lose and expecting TCU to be decent coming off the Natty. Um, I mean, but they turned out not to be good at all. So I mean, I guess not really. That's why I wanted to know what the question or topic was, like what made Cam say that. Because
Yeah,
like, if somebody was comparing or saying Shador was better and he was commenting on that, then I mean, yeah, I mean what he said wasn't wrong. Whether you want to frame it different, or not, it wasn't wrong.
Yeah. So real quick, man, I want to know who your CSN player of the week is. Real quick, I would like to go first if you don't mind. Mine is easy. This particular week, I'm gonna give it to two people because I just feel like they both balled out, had two sensational performances. I want to shout out, Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams for being my picks for player of the week. Like I said, Jalen Milroe had over 400 total yards in the game. He had 374 passing yards, going 27 of 33 with two tutties. Uh, he threw a pick, but that wasn't necessarily his fault. And then he also carried the ball 16 times for 117 rushing yards and two tutties. And then Ryan Williams, of course, the freshman sensation. He had six catches, 177 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. So those are my two co CSN Player of the Week for college football. Who you got, League City?
Mine is the running back from Boise, Ashton Jeanty, 250, four tugs. You know, I would give it to him.
Yeah, that's wavy for
Timberville
sure.
Row for sure was player of the week for me.
No, that's tough. Lastly, in college football, what are some games that you're looking forward to this upcoming weekend, brother? Now this week, it's a unique week because it's not too many ranked opponents playing each other head to head. Outside of what's the name, Missouri and Texas A&M, they lock in this week. But outside of that, bro, that's the only two teams that have a ranked matchup where both of them are ranked head to head. So, are there any games that you looking forward to outside of your squad?
Besides that Missouri game, probably Tennessee plays Arkansas. I'm gonna check out that game. Michigan plays at Washington. I'm gonna check out that game. And USC plays at Minnesota. I'll probably check out a little bit of that game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing really too crazy this week.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy at all. For real, for real. I mean, I want to see how Ole Miss and South Carolina. I want to see them lock in and see how South Carolina fares against them. But outside of that, and the games that you just mentioned, there's not too many games that really catch my interest. At the beginning of the season, Clemson and Florida State looked like a great game in the preseason, but Florida State being 1-4, that's dead. So
Factual.
in the NFL. Pivoting to the NFL, Devontae Adams, star wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly played for the Green Bay Packers, just requested a trade from the Raiders. Who do you see as a potential destination for the star wideout?
Uh, it sounds like the Jets wanting. It sounds like that's the best. I mean, I'd like to see him at the Ravens personally. I'd like to see Lamar get him. You know, I don't know how that would pair with their groove. But that seems like they're just getting into it, so it wouldn't be hard to get Devontae on his one-on-one matchups for them. But I'd like to see the Ravens. But it seems like the Jets. So Jets and Ravens are my tops. I know people were talking about the Chiefs, but the Chiefs came out and said that they weren't going to pursue him. So those two, Jets or Ravens for me.
And
Somebody,
thank
Paul Pierce said the Bills on TV, which I thought was all right. Josh Allen could use another weapon, I guess.
Yeah, he could use an X, a proven X. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
Um,
like. I didn't mind that idea either. But
yeah.
Ravens or Jets seems like the top destination. But I like to see the Ravens. Ravens can get him. He's going to be cheap. I think he's like every game he plays is like $1 million coming off his contract, like for his next team or something like that. Like if he was
Wow.
to get traded, yeah. So
They say the Saints and the Jets are top on his wish list. I would more so like to see him with the Saints because Derek Carr is younger. He might have more years with Derek Carr as opposed to Aaron Rodgers. You might max get 2 years with Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? So my logic is you go to New York, You rock out with Aaron. That would be the ideal situation because the chemistry they had in Green Bay was just remarkable. Uh, quick fun fact: outside of my Niners players, Devontae Adams is my favorite receiver in the league. Uh, but shout out to Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Smitty, all my Bama guys. But I just love Tay, just his route running ability. I think he's super smooth. Always have. Malik could tell y'all, I had him in fantasy. I'm the one who put everybody on to Devontae in fantasy years ago, right? So I think it would fare well going to New York, but it would be short term. You're there for a good time, not a long time. I think with New Orleans, especially with what they cooking up and how they looking, what I'm saying, if Derek Carr could continue his good play, they might have something there. You know what I'm saying? And I know that was his college quarterback. So, it's just a matter of what he wants to do, what's important to him. I do think Baltimore would be a great situation as well because they need an X also. Lamar Jackson has never had an X like this. You understand? He's never had a true outside threat. You know what I'm saying? He had a couple guys that you thought would be, and that's no disrespect to Odell. He just wasn't the same when he was there last year. You know what I mean? If he would have got the Odell that was there when he was playing with the Rams, my gosh, Odell would still be in Baltimore. So just depends on what he wants to do and what's important to him. You know what I mean? I know he wants to contend. He's around my age. We're in our 30s, so he'll have a crazy amount of time left. So definitely wants to be positioned where he could compete for a championship. So we'll see how it shakes out, man. But yeah, I would like to see him play for the Saints, though. Me personally, with his old college quarterback. So we'll see how that goes. Uh, Malik, are the Dolphins done without Tua?
Yeah, they ain't got no quarterback. I mean, unless they trade for like Russell Wilson, there ain't really a quarterback situation that's going to fix, or fix that offense for him. Tua was, Tua was a good quarterback. I know a lot of people don't like Tua for some reason, but I thought he was a good quarterback. They're definitely suffering without him. You can see it.
Yeah, I think so too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's tough, wish they had a formidable backup because that is such a talented roster and they came so highly regarded. You would think that, even despite the loss of Tua, they still would be able to figure something out, but that's just not the case, man. So hopefully, prayers to Tua and his family. Hopefully he's okay. He can bounce back and play. But if not, it's a wrap for the Dolphins this particular season, which is crazy to say. So, but Malik, man, what's your updated NFL top five power rankings, man? Who you got, in position? I got a feeling you might have two teams in the same division from on there. I know I do. So just throwing it out there. Want to see your thoughts, but who you got as your top five teams in the NFL right now, brother?
For me, it'd probably be the Chiefs still at one. I'd have the Vikings at two right now with their way they're playing. Three, I'd have the Ravens. Four, I would have the Commanders, and five, I would have. Oh, five, I probably had the. No, actually, four, I would have the Buccaneers. Five, I would have it. That's how I would go.
You said five. You would have who?
The Commanders.
The Commanders. Okay, respect. So our top two is the same, but it's flipped for me. At number one, I got the Vikings. Number two, I got the Chiefs. Although the injury bug has hit them as well, so don't be surprised if they start losing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Missing their top wide receiver, Travis Kelsey, looking like he's declining, respectfully, and missing their running back Pacheco. So it's about to be tough times for them boys, man. But number one, I got the Vikings. Number two, I got the Chiefs. Number three, I got the Lions, Malik. Number four, I got the Bills. Number five, I got the Steelers. So those are my updated top five power rankings.
Bro, I'm not sold on the Lions, bro. That's why they're not in my top five. I got Jared. Well, I did have Jared Goff in fantasy. I dropped him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like how he playing this year, bro. It's one of them shaky Jared Goff years. I know he went 18 for 18 the other night, playing Seattle, but you know how we feel about Seattle. We don't really respect any Seattle game, win or loss. Like,
Yeah.
we know what the Seahawks are. I just ain't like what I've been seeing from golf, bro. Like I know they got a good team, you know what I'm saying? I know they well coached, but bad quarterback play can fuck you over, bro, like quick, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I just see like some bad stuff going on with golf, this year. So I'm not that high on them, even though they got a better record than some of the teams I had in my top five. These are just teams I feel like are playing a little bit better, you know, personally. The Lions kind of reminded me of the Eagles last year when they went on that 10-1, but it looked rocky, you know. I kind of get them vibes from the Lions right now.
Man, the Eagles in trouble, boy. Man.
Oh yeah, for
Uh
sure. Trouble, for sure.
uh and I'm looking forward to our overreaction hot take segment, man. I want to see what you say about Brody. But yeah, man. It's I don't know. I do think Detroit is talented. You think they're shaky due to quarterback play, and would you say their defense? Like their defense isn't shored up. So that's
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like if somebody in there shredding their defense and golf can't keep up with the other quarterback, bro, like that's what I'm seeing for real, for real. Like they've been finding a way to win games, just like kind of off talent. In my opinion. Um, and like I said, just being well coached, doing the right things. Like I feel like we should have beat them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I see holes all through the lines, bro. For real, for real. It's not the same team last year. I think they were a little bit better last year, even though they have more. Like Jameson is arriving now. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like they getting a little bit more talent on that offensive side, but golf ain't. He ain't being consistent with it right now, bro. That's
Got you.
just all I'm gonna say. So I don't see it. I mean, of course they're
Respect.
a playoff team, but they're they probably right outside my top five for sure. I'm just that's probably me being a little bit biased because golf has lost me some fantasy games. You know what I'm saying?
I know how that feels. I had him last year, bro. Trust me. Yeah, he's just not super consistent. So
At all.
it's tough. But speaking of, players and their performances, who would be your CSN player of the week in NFL football? I'm gonna go ahead and state mine real quick, if you don't mind, brother. I'm gonna go ahead. Shout out to my Bama boy, Derrick Henry. He had 24 carries for 199 yards, one tutty. He almost eclipsed 200, which would have been the record. He would have broke the record for 200-yard games had he got that. But he did have an 82-yard touchdown, which is the longest rushing touchdown in Baltimore Ravens history. So I wanted to shout out my boy, man, because he went crazy. He almost rushed for 200 yards in the NFL. Still missed the 2,000 yards himself. So that's who I got as CSN Player of the Week for me in the NFL. Who you got, Lake City?
Bruh, that's funny you said that, bro. Because I had Derrick Henry, you know what I'm saying? Of course. But I'm gonna give it to Baker Mayfield again. You know what I'm saying? Baker had almost 350 through the air. They smacked the Eagles. He had a couple touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? No turnovers. So I'm gonna give it to Baker. I gave it to Baker a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Shout
Hey,
out to Baker.
Malik, it seemed like Baker found a hole, man.
Oh yeah, he got paid. He
Yep.
there.
So, hey, I'm happy for him, man. Because I'm going to be honest, he was cocky in college, but he was nice. So it was funny how his career started. Because again, he was very cocky in college. So he got humbled but it's cool to see, he bounced back. I think he understands, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool, to see him balling like this. I'm happy for bro, real talk. Because I always thought he was talented. I remember when, what's his name? The linebacker from Georgia, Bellamy. They beat Oklahoma. Remember, if you remember in the post game, he was yelling at Baker like, "Humble yourself, like humble yourself." So that year he was wilding a little bit, but he was turned. The Heisman, he was turned that year. You feel me? So that's what's up, man. I'm glad to see him back doing his thing. Uh, Real quick, what are some of the games that you're looking forward to the most in the NFL, man? I know we got a good Sunday night matchup that I'm excited to watch once I get off work Sunday and finish the Niners game. What's some other games that you looking forward to though, brother?
Um, the Bengals Ravens game. Looking forward to that. Um, the Vikings Jets. Looking forward to that. Um, those are probably for real. For real. That might be the only ones I'm truly looking forward to. I know we play the Packers, so I'm gonna tune into that. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm not. I guess yeah. I guess the Sunday night game will be good too. I guess that'll be good too. Yes, I was looking at the slate of games for real, for betting purposes. You know, and it's just an ugly slate this week. It's just some weird looking games. So yeah, uh, but those will probably be the ones: Bengals, Ravens, uh, Jets, Vikings, the Sunday night game. I can't hear you, bro.
Thank you. For me, I'm gonna say the Buccaneers and Falcons. And
Mhm.
then we keep saying the Sunday night game. The Sunday night game for our listeners is the Cowboys and Steelers. So and I think that Chiefs Saints game could be interesting as well. So those
This
are
Monday, right?
yeah, Chiefs Saints, yes, sir. So we'll see, what Mahomes looks like at home against that defense. So now it's time for another segment that we have, our CSN Pick Six segment. Speaking of, Malik, you was just talking about the slate of games for betting purposes. So why don't you lead us? What's your three?
I got two from college. So one is Clemson minus 14 and a half versus Florida State. I like that a lot. Um, then you got damn Georgia minus 24 versus Auburn coming off the loss. You know, Auburn's not that good. I can see them really smothering Auburn. Auburn might not even score type of game. You know, and then one for the NFL that I like is the Panthers plus 4 versus the Bears. I like that a lot. So those would be my three right there. And y'all are who y'all play this week? Y'all -7 versus somebody. I like y'all's game too. The Cardinals, right? Y'all play the Cardinals. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I like that game too. It's a little bonus.
So for my three, of course, that was going to be one of mine. I like my Niners. We're at home playing the Cardinals. I got us at -7. Uh, Next, we have, let me see here, because it is a weird week, but I like, I was looking at that Ravens game earlier when we was going through. Yeah, they play the Bengals. Yes, away, and it's a division game, but I still like the Ravens beating the Bengals. I got them at -2.5. And then now this may shock some people, and I get it because they haven't looked the best on offense. But I like how the Broncos been playing on defense, and I don't really like the weaponry that the Raiders have now, especially with Devontae Adams about to be out. So I got the Broncos against the Raiders at -2.5 for my three. So Those are our 6 selections for our CSN Pick Six segment. If you want to win some money this week, make sure y'all lock in on this particular segment, man. Next segment, we'll be transitioning to our overreaction hot takes. True or false, man? Uh, Let me know. Malik, you know, I love you, boy. We used to argue about AJ Green, Julio Jones back in the day when we was coming up. This is a similar comparison. But my overreaction hot take, Ryan Williams is better than Jeremiah Smith. True or false? It's tough, I know.
Uh, I'm going to say, bruh, I don't know, bruh. That's a hard one for. I think they both nice, and I think they both nice in like their own way.
Different ways, yes. Yeah.
Like, like I see more shit that you might see on Sundays from Jeremiah Smith, you know. Um, and then you just see a lot of explosive, crazy highlight plays from Ryan Williams. Like he can hit his head on the goalpost any play, bro.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. That's what I value, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like, explosive this offensive players, period, or people that get the ball, put in their hands. I'm gonna say, bro, I'm gonna say true, but I I I truly think it's neck and neck, bro. Like some of the stuff Jeremiah do is crazy for real,
Yeah,
for real.
no, that one hit the snag the other night was crazy.
Bro, he had two on the same possession.
Yeah. He
One
tough.
for a touchdown, one over two defenders, bro. Like, like it's I don't know. It's tough it's splitting hairs with them too, but
And he
Ryan
got a
Williams,
different build. He got more of a, you know what I mean? He got a different build than Hollywood too.
that's what I'm saying, bro. He looked like AJ Brown out there or something, bro. Like, like and I could see it translating. That's the thing though, bro. Like right now you might be able to say it because bro, Ryan Williams don't even turn 18 till after the season though, which is crazy to even think about. You know, I don't know, bro. That's just splitting hairs. That's a stumper. Pick your
Hey,
poison.
yeah,
But I can see it translating. I could see Jeremiah translating a little bit better in the league based off of some of the things I've seen. Because the league ain't as wide open as college is. You know what I'm saying?
correct.
So he just looks a little more tech, bro. I don't. I'm only saying true because Ryan Williams is explosive like right now in college, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah ended up being like better in the league at all. Like that's kind of what I'm getting at. Ryan Williams might be better in college. I
Got
can
you.
see Jeremiah being better in the league for real. We'll see though.
Next overreaction hot take. Baker Mayfield has more of a ceiling than Jalen Hurts.
Uh it just depends on what cylinder. Like for me, I know this came from a discussion we had earlier in the week, but he doesn't have a higher ceiling than Jalen Hurts, but he has a higher like consistency ceiling, if that makes sense. So like he can be consistent more than Jalen, week in and week out. Um, but we've seen Jalen's ceiling. Jalen's ceiling can, almost win you the Super Bowl if you ain't going up against the second greatest quarterback ever.
All
Um,
right.
so no, I wouldn't say he has a higher ceiling, just a higher consistency ceiling. Or like, he we've seen Baker go out there and operate with different things and get wins. You know what I'm saying? It's a little tough for Jalen without his weapons. It looks a little, you know, it looks completely different without his weapons. So,
For sure.
but nah, his ceiling isn't higher. That's false. It's just a consistency thing for real. I think Baker can be more consistent, over a long period of time, as he's showing right now, for real, for real.
For sure.
You know, but yeah, his ceiling isn't higher because Jalen Hurts can do too much. He almost won MVP. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. In the NBA, the Timberwolves won the trade between them and the Knicks. Did the Timberwolves win that trade? True or false? Well, excuse me, Timberwolves won that trade. True or false?
False. I think it was an even trade. You know, they got two pieces that they can use. You know, they got a tougher piece. You know, and Randall. I wouldn't say he's necessarily better than Cat at all. You know, but you know he gonna bang. You know he gonna get the rebounds. You know what I'm saying. You know that's never gonna be a thing as far as paint presence now. You know, I think it's just gonna be getting him in the offense. You know, the flow of the offense and you know how that's gonna look because Cat could really spot up. You know, Julius kind of needs the ball. But then they got DiVincenzo who can be a knockdown three and D guy for him. You know what I'm saying? Something else that they needed. They needed some shooting, you know. And then the Knicks got another star to go with Brunson. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was a win-win. I don't think nobody won that trade. I think that's false. I think that was an even trade.
See, and with me, I'm gonna say the Timberwolves won the trade because they got more depth. You know what I'm saying? The key is really DiVincenzo. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm so shocked and surprised. You know, I know it's a synonym, but they said that he wasn't really jacking the reunion of the Villanova boys, due in large part because he was going to have a reduced role. He just had a career year last year in reference to, the 3 pointers made, his 3 pointer percentage. You know what I'm saying? He played great last year. He played great the year before though with the Warriors. So he's definitely earned his spot in regards to being a valued asset in the league. But I do think that, the Timberwolves won that trade just simply off the fact they got more depth from this situation. But you did bring up a great point because if you know and you watch Julius Randle, he's real ball dominant. He needs the ball. You're not gonna have the ball with Anthony Edwards over there. So it's gonna be interesting to see, how they play off each other and how he adjusts his game. Because of course that's Anthony Edwards' team. But I still think Julius Randle is going to eat. So we'll see how it works out. Next overreaction hot take, and this is the last one, Malik. The Knicks are now the best team in the East with the addition of Carl Anthony Towns.
That's false. The Celtics are. There's nothing really to talk about.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
still are the top team over there.
Got you. Speaking of the trade, and I'm with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Not to be so, agree, but I'm with you. I think it definitely makes them more formidable. Definitely makes them as like the top contender, maybe. We got to see what the Sixers look
Conference
like.
finals team now. Might
Yeah.
be maybe able to make it there, but I don't. You know, they ain't better than Boston.
Uh-uh. But they do got the pieces on the wing now, though, that can guard Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. So we're gonna see.
Kev Bridges ain't guarding no Smith.
You said what?
Said Mikael Bridges ain't guarding nobody. That's a myth.
Oh, Malik, you gonna violate Mikhail, bro?
He's not a lockdown defender, bro. He's not.
I see. Just because you're not a lockdown defender, on me, because that's a very special group. Like Drew Holiday, what's his name? Avery Bradley, when he was in the league. Those are like lockdown defenders. Like uh Kawhi in his prime defensively, his defensive prime was a lockdown defender. Uh he's still a great defender though, League.
No, he's not.
That's hilarious. Why do you think Mikhail's not a good defender, bro? That's was his role when he was with the Suns originally.
Because that's just not what he was in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, yes, he probably scaled it back because he had to be more of a scorer. But on this team, he ain't got to worry about that. You know what I mean? He can get
He
his
wasn't
18.
scoring much in Brooklyn, bro. Mikael Bridges ain't that good. He's a decent player, but he's not that much of a needle mover. Like you'll see.
No,
You know,
I'm with you.
man,
I do think he's a good player though. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you. Like, I
he's
can't agree.
solid. He's a solid piece to a team, but I mean, he's not. Bro, he's not moving the needle. He's not going to do anything that's going to stop Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum from getting a 25 at all.
Word. Well, we gonna have to see. Uh, but yeah, man. Just to highlight our listeners though, and let them know the trade we're talking about, is a blockbuster trade in the NBA that caught all of us off guard because Karl Anthony Towns did not, I repeat, he did not request a trade from the Minnesota Timberwolves. But what happened was the Timberwolves traded him to New York Knicks for Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a future first round pick. So I wanted to highlight that real quick for our listeners so they can have background on what we're talking about. It's media day. Training camp is starting this week for NBA teams, so look out for that as the NBA season is approaching. We'll definitely be talking more hoop. Uh, but yeah, last and certainly not least, though, Malik's 2 minute warning segment. What you got for us this week, brother?
This week is for we've talked about this at the end of pods before, but it's really for parents, man. Coaching their kids in sports. These days more than ever, um, it is okay to gear your kid towards a sport you want him to be successful at. You know what I'm saying? We all had those dreams, growing up. We all want those dreams for our kids, you know. But you should really let your kids peak, what I'm saying, when it's time for them to peak. A lot of y'all do a lot of unnecessary stuff in the communities, what I'm saying, causing friction in the communities with people that are volunteering to help your kids, you know what I'm saying? And I'm here to tell you, ain't none of y'all's kids peaking, what I'm saying, in middle before high school. That's just what it is. You can even be doing something different in middle school. Let your kids be kids, let them learn the game that they're playing or that they're participating in. Let them learn the nuances of winning, losing, adversity, things of that nature. Everybody's kid isn't a star. Everybody's kid isn't a star uh young either. And y'all just got to get it through y'all's heads. It's really sad, hearing some of the stuff that I hear that people got to deal with because the parents just got ego problems. You know what I'm saying? Um, and like I said, more than ever with NIL in college, I understand why you would want to gear your kid to be good at something because now you can, change your family trajectory. Not even have to be in, the league, or playing professionally, whatever sport it is, you know. But there's a process, once those kids become of age, and hopefully you've taught them right, there's a way to to show them the way, show them the work, you know. I just wanted to speak on that, man. Y'all got to do better out there, please. For the kids' sake. If you care about the kids, do better for the kids, man. Because you don't have a career as a parent.
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself because y'all know around the way I run youth sports in my section, but I couldn't agree more with bro. Goodness. Like y'all need to first and foremost get more business about yourself. For y'all that doesn't know what that means, you need to get more motion. For y'all that doesn't know what that means, you need to get more stuff going in your personal life that's positive, that's proactive, that's progressive, that will not have you trying to live vicariously through your son or daughter. That's what I mean. And that's
Okay.
just as simple as that.
Simple.
So, you know, again, please don't be alarmed. Ain't nothing going on. Y'all know we ain't never breaking up. Ain't nobody going nowhere. Dree, we hate that we had to record without her again. It's just, the money call, you dig? So, that's why we gotta continue to work and, grind it out so we could do this full time. You dig? But with that being said, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. Shout out to my baby, my beautiful mama. I love you so much, man. Happy birthday. I apologize. I should have started the show like that, man. I just wanted us to hop in, but definitely want to tell her thank you for everything and happy birthday and show love. And yeah. without further ado, you know
Happy
what I'm
birthday,
saying?
Mom.
I know you reached out to her, bro. Bro, you always hold me down, man. You know what I'm saying? I know we do that with our moms. I just want to tell you on air that, she really appreciates that type stuff. You know what I mean? Because I don't, ain't like you got to remind me, ain't like I got to remind you. And you just do it out of the kindness of your heart. And you a busy man like me. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got to do that. So I appreciate you always showing love to Mom and K. You dig? We all been through a lot together, you know? So uh, I just appreciate you always showing the love, bro.
Yes, sir. You know it, man.
So, with that being said, though, man, this your boy KBZ. I'm with Leak the God. Dreams with us in spirit. Please continue to like, subscribe, share, and view the content. And we out, man. Peace and blessings.
Peace.